Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of A Cup of Laurenade, and today I am here with a very special guest.
Hi, I'm Ria. Nice to meet you guys. I'm a model in South Korea and that's pretty much what I do. I am from Germany and I have been here for 1.5-ish years. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, thank you for coming on today's episode and wanting to talk about the topic with me today, which is the struggles of living in a foreign country. And obviously, as someone living in South Korea as an expat like myself, I thought it would be a really cool episode for us to do together.
Yes.
And we are in kind of different fields, but also with a lot of crossover, so
yes.
Very cool.
Yes.
And we're both from Europe, so maybe we can
Yes.
sprinkle some European goodness on there.
That's true.
And I have made her a cup of Yorkshire tea.
It's my first time trying it and I'm a fan. I'm such a fan.
Yeah, that's so
I
good.
love it.
And she also brought some lovely lotus biscuits, so
I did.
This is
they
what
taste
we
like
do.
home to me.
yes, dip it in.
Oh, I have to dip it. Okay. It's so good.
Yeah? Okay, good.
This kind of tastes like Christmas. We eat these kind of cookies for Christmas in Germany. Mm-hmm. It's like, as soon as they get out in the supermarkets, everyone runs and gets them.
Give me those lotus.
So good.
Have you ever had the spread?
Oh, yeah.
The spread is so good, especially like in a cake, like in the middle layer of a
That
cake,
sounds good.
like banana bread or something. Oh my god, it's amazing. I wish I had an oven, but I don't.
I have an oven. You should come over.
Yes, I can bake. I
Yes.
can bake. We can make it because I've not baked in so
We
long.
also have so many like baking supplies because my former roommates, they were bakers.
Bakers, yeah.
They were bakers. So no one is using them. They're
I'm
gonna
there.
be happy too.
Banana bread,
Oh
yes.
my gosh. Great.
Okay, so as always, before we get into the main segment of the podcast, we do Ick of the Week. And would you like to share your ick first?
Yeah, so it's kind of the week, kind of just a general thing too.
Yeah.
It's Koreans love wearing slippers, right?
Uh-huh.
So Koreans, or that's the people I, see wearing slippers the most, love wearing slippers, also just for running to the supermarket, running to the convenience store, whatever, which is all fine. It's okay. But what is really, like, my ick is if they wear no socks in the slippers and then the slippers are so big that their toes go out in the front and touch the ground.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I know exactly what you mean. It's like the claws are coming out over the edge of
and
the
I saw
slipper.
it in the subway and we're just like sitting really neatly like next to each other and then one person is just like,
and they have to grip on as well
yeah.
because otherwise they'll fall off. Oh, I know exactly.
and
what
then
you mean.
they take them off and they just like stretch their toes out and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're in public.
I literally spoke
Right?
about toes in public, like I think in last week's episode,
Oh, you did, okay.
and then, but just toes in public, but
Yeah.
not even talking about the slippers. Or I think in the UK we call them sliders.
Sliders.
But
sliders, okay.
so yeah, I don't
That
know
is-
why they're not very well fitting the slippers.
Yeah, and also why they don't care. Because
Yeah.
walking in slippers that are too big or too small is just so much work.
It's painful as well.
Yeah.
It hurts your calves.
It does.
Yeah.
And you have to like really pay attention to not lose them on the way. It's like...
I'd lose one immediately, I think.
Or like, what if you have to run? You're just running and then...
No running possible.
No running. Or you just run and fall. It's just like...
It feels like you've just been like to your friend's house and they just have very big feet and you just borrowed them to go outside, or you've borrowed like your older siblings' shoes or something.
Or you know those memes where like you have to come outside to get the groceries and you just wear any shoes that you can find, like high heels and like one high heel, one slipper, like...
But this is a daily occurrence. Yeah.
That might be the reason though. Maybe they don't have time and I have to run to the subway. I don't know. But yeah, it's just something that I really don't want to see.
Yeah, I
It's
completely
just...
agree.
You can do whatever you want for yourself in
Yeah.
your private life, but please don't make me look at your
Don't stretch your feet
claws.
out either in
Yeah.
public. It's
No.
kind of gross. I don't know. I have a weird thing about feet. I don't really like feet.
Yeah, I think it's okay if they're like clean and tidy and you can see like they're taken care of, if like, but if there's like, if you can really see they are not taken care of, that is where
Like
I draw
claws.
the line. Yeah, or like just I don't want to get too
Okay,
deep into this
no one
because,
wants to hear.
But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a very good ick. Yes, I completely agree. Completely agree. Ew, I just had the full on image and you were like this with your hands.
And like they can feel the ground. Like
they're touching it.
And that's one thing I don't want to feel is like the subway, in the subway, the floor. I mean, it's quite clean in Korea.
Yeah, it's clean.
But it's still not clean. Like,
it's not dirty, but it's not clean.
Yeah, it's just used. It's like people walk over it with their shoes. So many people walk over it, especially during rush hour. Like, I don't want to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
an absolute no from me.
No.
Not a chance. I wouldn't. I always wear socks when I wear slippers.
Oh, I don't even wear slippers.
Okay. You really hate them then. She's very anti-slippers.
I just don't do it. Like, it's not even a hate. I'm just like, I never had it. Like, growing up, we never had slippers, so my brain just doesn't go to, oh, I'm just gonna wear slippers. I just wear my shoes. I just wear my shoes and go. It's habit. Maybe I should, like, break it because it's easier to just wear slippers.
Yeah. Just, if you're just going to the convenience store or something, then it is definitely useful.
Yeah. I can see that.
Socks. I like socks with sliders, personally.
It tends to be more cute. That's true. Yeah. And there is cute sliders too.
Yeah, like, there's a lot. Okay, moving on from feet.
Yes.
My ick this week / just eternally my ick is people who just sit on their phones all the time.
Oh yeah.
So I think especially when you meet, like, you're meeting your friend. I get it if maybe they're like doing work or something like that, then it's okay. But just like, I don't know if you're meeting for a coffee and they're just
and
the whole time.
They don't even talk.
No.
That's
like if you're multitasking and you're like, I don't know, like texting a brand or doing whatever or like fixing your schedule, then fine. But if they're just like scrolling or something like that, I don't know, it really annoys me. And I had a friend like in the past who would just do this constantly. It's like, do you have nothing to say? Like
why do you want to meet
coffee?
Me if you don't want to talk to me? Like,
we aren't friends anymore. For that reason. But I know that there are friendships that people are like, oh, that friend where you can just sit next to each other and scroll on TikTok. And I'm like,
fine.
That's fine for you.
That is something I feel like if you're like really close, for example, like I used to have roommates in Germany who I was really close with. We were like family and we were together 24/7 because it was during COVID and we're just like, we were the only company we had. So sometimes hanging out and then being on your phone while hanging out was normal because it's just like everyone needs like a little downtime and like still doing something for yourself, but not being alone is sometimes nice. In that scenario, I would get it, but not if you like meet up for coffee and then you just sit there with like coffee, you take pictures like, oh, cute, and then you're just like
this,
just like
the whole time.
Yeah. It literally looks like you don't even like each other. And I have seen not even friends, but also couples doing it where I'm like, oh my gosh,
I've seen it all the time.
Yes, it's the worst thing. I'm like,
do you not enjoy spending time with me?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, then what are you doing?
Just go home and do that then if you're gonna do that. Yeah. That's what I think.
100%. It's a little rude too because like, not just a little rude.
I think it's really rude.
It's really rude. It's like, I want to tell you stuff. I want to like connect and I don't know, just have a quality time.
And you're scrolling on TikTok or Instagram. Yeah, but that's my ick this week.
That's a good one too.
Yes.
Lots of icks.
Lots of icks. Lots of icks. But yes, guys, do let me know what your ick is this week in the comments and I would love to read them. Okay, so today we're going to be discussing the struggles of living in a foreign country. So basically the episode's just going to be about you.
Yay!
And I will just kind of sprinkle some of me on there.
Please do.
Because
this is such a good topic to talk about together. Like,
I think so. I've lived here for a long time.
How long have you been living here?
Like 5 years, right? Yeah, 5-6 years. So it's kind of nice to hear it from you as someone who's lived here for a shorter amount of time, but still a very decent chunk of time living here. And everyone here has probably listened to me talk about things that I miss and blah, blah, blah. So it would be nice for them to hear from somebody else, I think, also. So can I just get you to talk about your background, your person, and your like reason for moving to another country?
Of course. So I actually have a bachelor's in communication design, and I did that in Germany. And I finished it right when COVID started. So I wrote my thesis within the strictest lockdown of COVID. And that was horrible. And I'm an extroverted person, so it was even worse.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do?
I'm trapped.
And yeah, so I felt really isolated. And then I still managed to get a job in that field right after graduating from university. And I worked in a design office for 1 year. And I had the same feeling. It was a small design office where like maybe 7-8 people. Everyone was young-ish. So I think the oldest person was like 35 maybe.
Wow.
And that was really cool. But at the same time, I literally went to work in the dark in the morning, and I came home in the dark, and I was 21 or 22, and I was like, this cannot be it. My life feels like it's over, and it didn't even start yet.
Yeah.
So during the whole time, I was living with like the roommates I talked about earlier, and one of them is Korean. And she kind of introduced me into like deeper into the Korean culture. Like we sometimes called with her parents, and it was really cute, and we ate Korean food and stuff like this. So I was like, this is something that like resonates with me. And at the same time, I started modeling during university as a hobby for fashion design students, and they were all Korean and Chinese. So
oh yes, it was the same at my university.
Yeah, and they were the sweetest girls, and they were the only ones who asked me if I want to model for them. This is literally how I started modeling. They were like, "Do you want to do this?" And I was like, "I have no idea, but if you tell me what to do, of course I can like help you with your project. Sure, I would love to." So I kind of picked up from that. And so it was like a thought in the back of my head for a long time. It's like, modeling, is this something I could do? And it's a job that's really, you have a different day every single day. There is almost no routine. And that was what I was craving while doing the job in the design studio. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to quit. I'm going to move to Korea.
Wow.
And that's kind of what I did. There was more preparation to it. So like,
obviously, you didn't just get on the plane like the second you quit.
Like
but...
I kind of tried from afar if this would be something that would work for me. Like on Instagram, I actually kind of reached out to the Korean market with hashtags, and then that's how I got requests for jobs. I was like, okay, so if I get like requests, I could make a little money there. So it kind of started, like the ball started rolling, and then I came here in December in 2021.
Wow. Yeah. I'm forgetting that we're in 2023 now. I was like, that was like last week.
It feels like it too. I feel like just like last week I was so scared of new surroundings and everything. And just it's almost
been 2 years.
It has been. I had a break in between of like 4 months when I was in Germany, so it's like 1.5 years roughly. Yeah. Yes.
So then what were the kind of initial challenges that you faced when you first got here?
Everything. Like for me, I get anxiety when I'm in new surroundings. And it's a little funny that I know this about myself, and I always put myself in new surroundings.
Okay.
So I had a feeling it was going to be stressful for me in the beginning, and it really was. Like I was so anxious about just going to a supermarket or like just doing the most basic things, because it's like a whole new language and new ways of doing things, and then people here look at you a little more, so in moments where you want to hide, you're also being watched. It's like,
yes.
Right? Yes. You're just like trying to survive, and then someone's like, they're like, you sure you want to do that? You know, like so yeah, I think just feeling comfortable here was my biggest challenge in the beginning. There's not even things I can pinpoint that were exactly like or super hard, but just the overall getting used to everything being new. Yeah, which it was hard work, but it was what I wanted. So with that, like intrinsic motivation, is that what you call it? Yeah, it's it was doable.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have really wanted this, I think I would have quit.
Okay, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is very true. Have some tea.
Yes.
But yeah, the feeling of anxiety, I feel like this happens to a lot of people living here, is that because we are so closely watched by just by people in general, like by the general public. I don't know how to describe it, but everybody stares at you no matter what.
Especially if you're tall. We're quite tall,
Tall.
right? Like if you're
Tall.
and then you have colored eyes, and people just
blonde hair as well.
I do
they go
blend
crazy.
in quite, if I want to, I can blend in quite easily, but I cannot imagine not being able to do that on days when you really don't want to.
Yeah. Like, especially even if I just wear like a cap and a mask, like I'm clearly trying to just not let anybody look at me, but then they just still get even more curious because they're like,
huh?
Who's that inside that mask and that hat?
Right?
And I'm like, just stop staring for 1 minute. But yeah, like going to the supermarket, like small things can seem like a huge challenge. Even like for me when I first moved, I was so nervous just to go to the mart or even to the convenience store. I was like,
the first subway ride, I was so scared. I think it was this, I had to do quarantine here, right? And it was my second day. The first day out of quarantine was my birthday.
Lovely.
It was great.
Everyone wants to celebrate like that.
Yeah. And then the second day I had to go, like my Airbnb was kind of outside of Seoul, like near Gimpo Airport.
Okay.
And I had to go into Seoul to look at houses, like for living. And so my first day was literally somehow trying to get a T-Money card to go around here. I had no idea how to do that.
Oh, no.
Then like somehow like topping it up, I was like, what do I do? I don't know. What do I do?
Oh my goodness.
And then I had to also ride my first ever subway ride, which was like, it went perfectly well, but just in your head, it's like so many new things. And then I had an interview with an old Korean lady and she didn't speak any English.
Aww.
Like, and I was just like, so many things. When I got home that day, I was like, oh, okay. I got this. Like,
it was a heavy first day, but you did it, which is incredible, actually. And you did it alone. Yeah, that's next level. Yeah, because when I first came here, I was here as a student, and they assigned someone to look after you.
Oh, nice.
So I had that like little kind of comfort bubble with that. I mean, they later abandoned me very quickly. But
great.
But at least I kind of knew the basic things, and also I could speak basic Korean.
Yeah,
which helps.
I was at the point where I understood really basic Korean, but it was not familiar to me at all. So speaking was out of the question. Like I knew how to kind of do it in my head, but actual speaking it wouldn't get out. Yeah. I was like on top of the being nervous of just being here, and then also having to suddenly speak in this language I never had to use before was a whole. Well, that was a lot. Yeah.
It's very terrifying. I think people would not understand unless they actually experienced it.
Yeah, maybe.
It's very different from speaking like a European language, because it's easy for us to understand because our language stems are, you know, somewhat more similar. But Korean is a completely different alphabet, completely different grammar system and everything. So it's very intimidating.
Yeah, it was. But I do think the biggest challenges also have the biggest rewards. So after all of these kind of like things in the beginning, they were really hard for me to do, and I feel like a lot of people have kind of the same problems when they're coming here. It feels so good once you overcome it. Yeah, it's the best thing.
I'm so proud of myself.
Yes. Yeah. And then like, for example, I had some friends visiting like a few months after, and then suddenly I was the one. I was like, okay, sure, I'm gonna show you around here.
I know what to do.
This is where I was scared in the subway.
Giving them a tour. Yeah. This is where I almost cried.
Yes. This is where I actually cried.
That was me. Yes. It's funny that these are the things that we show people. The real things.
Yeah. Short tea break. Nice.
Honestly, take a sip anytime you need.
It's so good. I kind of want to like savor it so it's not gone too far.
I mean, I can give you some tea bags to take with you.
I would love that.
Yeah, I'll give you some. And
I
made it with oat milk as well. You just just steep the tea bag in the boiling water and then remove it after like 3-4 minutes and then add the milk.
Okay, I can do that.
And a bit of sugar. I put like 1 teaspoon of sugar in yours, I think.
Okay. Nice.
Okay.
Two new things.
2 new teas.
New teas.
Oh.
Oh no. I think I
These
got
are
your
not
thumb
very
right.
good.
I was like, ding.
This is on my thumb. So when you first moved here, how did you cope with homesickness and also cultural shock?
Homesickness. I think just calling my friends and my family a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just being like, hi, please tell me something that's going on at home. So, yeah, because it's like, if you think about it, they're not that far in a sense. Like, it's so easy to reach everyone now.
Yeah.
So that's something that really helped me not feel as alone. Like, I have a thing where I never really feel lonely because I'm okay with being by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But just feeling alone, it's like 2 very different things for me. So whenever I do feel a little alone, I'm like, I have so many people who I can just call back home. So yeah, I think that's for homesickness. Or just, like I told you, going to a international supermarket and getting getting like sauerkraut, like German food stuff that I don't even eat in Germany, but here I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
Eat it
Even if you don't usually have it, it's just something from back home. It makes you feel
like
better.
German sausages, like stuff like this. I'm like, and now I love it.
Aww. It's so nice that you had like a lot of people to call back home if you needed like a little bit of a feeling of being back home.
Yeah, I'm very lucky in that way.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah. You really are, because I can't really think of anybody that I could really call. I mean, I do have people, but like just to be able to quickly pick up the phone and call somebody. Yeah. Okay. Then how did you go about adapting to Korean culture?
Adapting?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. I have no idea.
Have you adapted, do you think,
I think
fully?
like naturally. Not fully, because there's some things that I, on a personal level, don't really agree with. So I don't want to adapt just because it would mean that I would have to like let go of a part of myself. So that's like something I probably won't do, but up until like I do feel like I'm very comfortable living here now, and with the way everything works here, it's just it crept up on me. Like every single day you learn something more, like watching people, how they do things here, how they interact, like kind of of course studying Korean, still going, still doing that.
How is it going?
It's right now I'm not actually taking classes, I'm more like immersing myself. So I get more like impulses from just people around me or like K-dramas or whatever.
It's an amazing way to learn Korean. That's how I first ever learned Korean before I went to school, was through dramas and TV shows.
And once you kind of go into that, like especially language, I feel like a lot of more things like open up to you. So I would say that's how I kind of adapted. Yeah. But I really like, just in general, I really like kind of watching people and learning from them. So adapting is not something that is unfamiliar to me, because it's just interesting for me. Like I love figuring out how other people work and how they do things. So adapting to a whole new culture is actually fun.
Yeah. You like being thrown in at the deep end.
Yes,
and
I do.
Learning that way.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty good way to learn, actually, especially the more you learn Korean, as you said, I think you will start to understand a lot of other things as well.
Yeah. And like the kind of the culture also is in the language. So a lot of the times when they don't say it this way, but a certain, like they express something that we would say in English, a really different way, but in the end it's kind of the same meaning. It still says a lot about the culture in itself. Don't ask me for an example. I have no idea. No. I have no idea right now. But like, or maybe like one of my favorite words in Korean is nunchi. It's like kind of the sensing something.
Yeah,
like
common sense.
Common sense, and that is so important in Korean culture. So just that they have this word already says so much about the whole culture.
It's true.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's a very
Stuff
interesting
like
point. Nunchi is...
Yeah. I love nunchi.
I love nunchi. I've not everybody has it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, it tells you a lot about a person.
It
if
does.
they do or don't have nunchi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if someone does or doesn't have common sense, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah, it says a lot about their character and how they've learned things going through life.
It's a great filter.
But I do think it's funny how you like silently observe people, and then all I think about is them staring back at you and being like,
who's watching who right now?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, maybe I should silently start observing people. Maybe it would make them stop staring. I don't know, or maybe they would be like, why is she staring at me?
Never know.
Maybe I'll give it a try.
Please do and tell me how it goes.
It ends up me getting in a fight with somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know. You never know. So, how have you dealt with any stereotypes and prejudices? Wow, can I speak English?
It's okay, I can't.
How have you dealt with stereotypes and prejudices from locals here?
I think I don't really handle it because most of the time I don't really care.
Okay.
I do feel like people who stereotype you in that way, that's something that is their problem. And if they are not open enough to like actually get to know not me, but just like people who are not from their own culture, then that is on them. And whenever I do get faced with stereotypes or prejudices, I sense that person is open to still learning.
Yeah.
I try to educate, but if, sometimes you can really tell they're not. And I'm just like, you know what? You live your life.
Yeah.
I live my life.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it like this. We're not going to agree on any of this. So let's just, part ways and it's fine too. Yeah, but I do have to say I did not get faced with a lot of stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do people often sound surprised when you say you're German?
Yeah, some do. A lot of people think I'm Russian.
Oh god.
Just because I'm like...
Yeah, everybody gets that. Yeah. I get that all the time.
I think as soon as you're like tall and, they're just Russian. Like, which is... I have lovely Russian friends. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's just not right. Yeah.
Still take it as a compliment. I'm like, damn, okay, I look good. Okay, I get it.
Thank you.
But also, there's a lot of people from other countries, not just Russia.
Yes.
Or the US.
Yes, true.
If I say, no, I'm not Russian, they go, oh, so you're from the USA? And I'm like, no.
Yeah. That's true, yeah. Like, taxi drivers, they always think I'm American. Yeah, and I did get, like, some older men just approaching me and speaking in Russian to me. And I'm like...
That's happened to me, too.
It's always older men, though.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
You're like, no, I'm not gonna
follow
you to that place.
No.
I'm not doing that, thank
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has anybody had any, like, stereotypes about Germany?
Yeah, we're not funny.
Really?
People... Whenever, like, I get the comment that, oh, you're German and you're actually a little funny. And I'm like, oh, well, gee, thanks. That is so great. I think this is like just a thing. But I do think it's something that people just say if they don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually think it. It's just it's just an easy conversation starter. Like, oh, but why are you funny then? I'm like, oh, well.
Why do you have a personality?
Yeah, right?
What? Yeah, no. There is that kind of image, though, that, like, German people are a little bit uptight. Which, if you meet German people, could be the case. Or could very not be the case. Yeah. Just, like, anybody from any country, but...
I think Germans are just great at just doing their own business. And that's literally it. Like... They're really selective about who to spend time with or what to spend energy on. And that can come across as, like, not funny, but that's just because at that point they just don't want to be funny. Yeah. It's like...
I think that's a great way to live, to be honest. Some are also
not funny. Not gonna lie.
German people, not all of them are funny.
Yeah. Some just are not funny, too. Like, they're trying and they're not, and that's fine, but that's a universal thing. That's just... People have different humor everywhere. Like, it's okay. Yeah.
So making friends in a foreign country can be extremely difficult, especially when you don't come as a student or you don't come working in a specific workplace.
Yes.
So as you came to do modelling, it's a bit, it may be a bit difficult to make friends. So how did you make friends when you first moved here?
Actually, when I first moved here, I was doing language school. So,
Never mind then. So you were at school.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like really secluded and online. So.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so in the beginning it was like the Europeans in the group, we connected easily because we were all here for like the same kind of reasons, and we were all on this big adventure on the other side of the world doing something. So it was kind of like, hey, do you want to go to Seoul and like just adventure whatever? And so that is how I made like maybe 2 friends in the beginning. And then in modeling, there's actually the way we met too, like through just like social media events or like group things or common friends. Yeah, I would say. Or what I like to do. So I love coffee, right? So I always somehow befriend coffee shop owners.
Oh, nice.
It's so natural. I just go in, and then at one point they're like, "Hi, Ria, you want this?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever."
You are a coffee connoisseur.
I am. Maybe that's my true calling.
Yeah.
In a few years,
Coffee shop.
yes. Oh,
yeah.
So nice.
A German coffee shop.
Yeah, Germans make good coffee. Strong.
And bread.
Strong coffee. Coffee and bread, yes. Yes.
Don't steal her idea.
Yes, or if you know how to do this, please contact me.
If you're wanting to invest in her
I'm
business,
here, hi.
I will leave her contact information down below. You never know.
Yeah, I think what I always did, and I didn't focus on making friends, I kind of focused on just doing whatever I wanted to do here. And on that way, it's like kind of easy to meet like-minded people. Like if you do your things for the right reasons, and you actually enjoy doing whatever you're doing, you always meet people who are happy to spend time with you. And that way I made so many amazing friends here. Just like be yourself and, you know.
The right people will find
Yes.
you. You don't have to kind of, I don't know, change yourself to
Never
impress a certain type of
Never.
person.
If you do, that's not gonna work. Not for a long time. Like,
that was me when I was first here. That was me, and it's very exhausting very quickly. But yeah, I think social media definitely plays a huge role in making friends. That's how we kind of made friends, through social media and content and stuff like that.
That's true. But if you're not in that field or environment, there is so many like sponsored trips for foreigners here, or like there's so many things to do. So if you really want to make friends, go through social media, like find some like platforms, and there's so many. And in that way, one thing I noticed here is that especially foreigners are so happy to make friends too. It's like within the foreign community, people are just so open to meeting new people. Because
having friends here is like your family, so people are very open to making friends, and for the most part very kind people.
Because like everyone who comes here in the beginning is here alone. Like some come with their friends, but most people are just here by themselves. So it's gonna be quite fast to meet new people. Like, that's how I met my very first friend. We're like, hey, you alone here? Yeah, you too. You wanna go to Hongdae? Okay, sure. Let's go eat. Yeah,
that is nice. I do think it's quite easy to make friends here. I think maybe compared to other countries also, because well, my older sister lives in Spain and she says it's kind of difficult to make friends there, so I'm quite relieved at how easy it is to make friends in Korea. And there's so many groups. There's like the tourism group, there's like volunteering groups, there's expat groups on Facebook and everything, and they do meetups and all that kind of thing. So I do think it's pretty easy to make friends here. Sorry, my camera overheated. But we will just move on to the last topic before concluding the main segment of this podcast. I just would like you to share a challenging experience that you faced and how you overcame it, and how these kind of challenges have positively impacted your life.
I did have one huge thing here, that was, I would say it would have been a huge thing anywhere, but especially because I was here and I was on my own, it was a little harder to get over. I had like, because of I had visa problems.
Oh,
I put it like this. I had visa problems,
Yeah.
and those problems were not caused by me, but by someone in the office, like in the immigration office, actually like making a mistake,
Oh no.
which was which was really out of my
control.
Yeah, out of my control. But because I was just small little me, I couldn't really do anything about it, and I couldn't really prove them that I was right, so I had to like face the consequences. And it was right when I was gonna leave Korea to go home to change my visa and come back to do modeling, and I didn't have a place to stay at anymore. I had to crash at my friend's place, and it was a lot of stuff to be figured out, and I felt really stranded. Which is, there was always a solution to this. Like, it was never at a point where I was like, I have no idea what to do.
Yeah.
So there was always a kind of a path to follow, and kind of like, I knew I just had to get this and this and this and this done. Which is like emotionally being at the point where you're like, I'm in this foreign country right now, and if I don't solve this, no one is gonna solve this.
No.
So I have to really push through. And I think it took me like 3 weeks to figure out how to finally be able to leave here.
Stressful 3 weeks.
Really stressful. It was so funny because I lived with a friend, and they have a studio that's like in the basement, so there was no daylight. And during those 3 weeks, I got white.
Yes.
I got so white because there was no daylight.
No sunlight.
No sunlight. And when I finally came to Germany, everyone was like, why are you so pale? Is it because now you want to model in Korea and you have to be like pale? And I was like, well, that wasn't my intention.
I just lived in a basement.
I just lived in a basement, but yeah. And just like the whole thing was just really, it was not the best case scenario.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest problem was just like me having to do this by myself, which is something like, if something happens to me in Germany, however big it is, I have my family to fall back on. I have my friends to like emotionally support me, and I just have this whole support system that can be like, okay, we got you, and you're not on your own. You can do this. And I did have an emotional support system here too, but no one could actually physically help me do this. So in that way, I think that was the most challenging thing. It all went well, like, and I grew from it, and I learned a lot about myself and a lot about what to be careful here, or just careful in general in like a country that's not your own. Not your own, not your, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I do not own any country. But
Not your home.
not your home.
homeland,
Yeah. And I think that is just like in a bigger picture, that is what you really learn, or what I really learned being here, is like just solving all of my problems by myself.
Yeah. Being independent.
Being really independent, because you have no choice.
No choice.
Literally no choice. So, which is, it's not fun while going through it, but after, I was like, okay, I can do anything now.
Yeah.
I can do literally anything.
If I did that, I could, you can
I'm
literally deal with
Superwoman.
anything.
Like,
I love that.
yeah.
Yeah, you definitely do gain a lot of independence living abroad and dealing with things in not even your, first or even second language for some people. So, yeah, it's really a great way to grow as a person, I think.
Yeah, and it also teaches you that there's always a way. There is like nothing to be scared of in that sense, because even if you think the world is gonna end, it won't.
Yes.
And whatever, it's gonna work out. So yeah,
Everything works out in the end.
yeah, it really does. And nothing is embarrassing. Nothing is embarrassing to me
Okay.
anymore, because
Really?
I feel like I did so many stupid things in Korea. So many, like, just from starting at like the traffic lights in Germany. You push a button to cross the street.
Did you press that
Yes, I
button
did.
that's meant for blind people? Yeah, me too.
That's
I pressed
great,
it so
right?
many
Yeah.
times.
Just with things like this, I feel like I'm not embarrassed anymore.
Yeah.
I sometimes go into the wrong room and I'm like, oh hi, well, sorry,
My bad.
my bad.
I'm just going to be going this way.
Yep.
Okay, nice. So then lastly, what advice would you give to people wanting to move to Korea?
Do it.
Do it!
Yeah, do
Okay.
it. Do it, and it's okay to be scared. It's okay if this feels like it's such a big thing, because it is. And just like let yourself experience all the things, and it's gonna be so much fun. It's so much fun because despite all the challenges, it's such a great country to do, especially as a student.
Yeah.
It's so great. You just have the best life, and it's totally worth, like, yeah, just leaving your comfort zone and feeling stupid.
You might feel stupid sometimes,
Yeah,
but that's okay.
I feel stupid a lot of the time.
Me too.
Still.
It's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
You cut yourself some slack, I think.
Do it, and you will grow so much, and you will, leave this whole experience and be like, I did this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Good for me.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing all your advice, your experiences.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was really, really lovely. I'm sorry that my camera overheated.
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry.
It's never happened before, but clearly I've got to change my setup, I think, a little bit.
It's really sunny today too.
It's very, very sunny today.
Great weather.
My poor camera. Hopefully it will be okay.
Oh, it will be.
But yeah, so...
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
I love this.
Yay. I'm very glad I'm going to be having a lot of different guests on over the next
Yes.
few weeks to talk about different topics.
So exciting.
So-
I'm listening to your podcast.
Yay!
Like when I'm cleaning, I'm like, let's listen.
Yay! Thank you. My other friend always listens when she's cleaning too. So if anybody listening right now is cleaning, you're doing a great job. Scrub those pans or whatever you're doing.
Scrub those pans.
Scrub those pans. But yeah, as always, I always finish off with a news. This week in Korea news. Honestly, there's not really that much going on. So it's a bit difficult. But I did find one that September's box office tally is less than half of pre-pandemic levels.
What is tally?
So the tally is kind of like the total amount that they've kind of marked.
Okay.
So basically, now, even after the pandemic, moviegoers falls to around 6.6 million in September, which is less than half of what it was before the pandemic. So nowadays, people are just not choosing to go to the cinema. I don't know about you.
Interesting.
Do you like going to the cinema?
I like it, but I don't go. I just realized I went way more before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not something that crosses my mind to do.
Yeah. I feel like maybe
you?
everyone's more at home watching movies. I personally love going to the cinema, but the price, it's a little bit pricey now. I think it's about 14,000 won per ticket. That's kind of what, like,
that's kind of pricey.
€9?
Pricey,
Yeah.
9-10.
9-10? Okay.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's way more expensive in other countries, but yeah, for me, I'll only go if it's something that I really, really, really want to see. So, like, I went to see Barbie at the cinema.
I was gonna say that's the last movie I watched, and like the only one I watched in like 3 years was Barbie.
Yeah, and well, anytime a new Marvel movie comes out, I go and watch it also. But I don't really choose to just go and watch something that maybe I don't know if I would like. So yeah, this data's not really that surprising, and every time I've been to the cinema here, it's been literally empty.
That is true. Like 5 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very true. Maybe we'll pick up in winter.
Maybe. Yeah, as more people want to do activities indoors, we will see. But yeah, less than half of what it was before the pandemic.
Crazy.
That's kind of insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is it for this week's episode of A Cup of Laurenade. I hope you enjoyed. I will leave links to all of Ria's social media down below, so definitely go and check her out. And thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome.
It's such a great time.
Yay! And I will pack her up some tea bags to take home.
I'm gonna send you a picture every time I drink a cup of tea and you're like, see,
I'm proud.
I'm drinking it.
I'm very, very proud.
I'm very happy.
Yay!
Okay.
Thank you everyone for joining, and I will see you in a new episode next week. Bye bye!